Mauricio Pochettino as a candidate for U.S. men's national team manager. Your thoughts?
Takes a lot of boxes. Takes a lot of boxes. Let's start with the obvious. Big European name. He's one of the best club managers out there. Sure. We'll get that into a second. Sure. Big name. So that's a box right there. Matt Crocker promised a big name. There is a big name. Another big box that he ticks is him working with young talent and developing said young talent. You could see his track record at Spurs. You could see the things that he was doing at Chelsea. You could see what he did at Southampton, where he did overlap with Matt Crocker when Matt Crocker was running the academy out there. So there's a familiarity with the U.S. camp and the way of doing things. Another box is, listen, if you can deal with the egos of the likes of Neymar, Kylian Mbappe, Lionel Messi, then certainly you can deal with the egos of the Tyler Adams, Christian Pulisic, Timothy Weah, Giovanni Reynas of the world. Takes a lot of boxes. Here's my issue. Is I'm not a romantic at heart when it comes to my football. I am a pragmatic at heart.
You want some trophies?
I want some trophies. And he is of the Marcelo Bielsa vein. He was of that coaching tree. He's of those values, and that is showcasing talent. How much of that talent he will have to showcase here is up for debate. But certainly when you look at the stops, when you look at the talent that he's had, to only come away with one piece of silverware and it be at the place where everybody, Sebi, I could put you at PSG and you coach them to a league untitled. Yes, I firmly believe that, because that's what you're supposed to do if you're PSG. It's what you're supposed to do if you have a team with a Neymar, with an Mbappe, with a Messi. You're supposed to at least win that trophy. That's what he's got to show for it. So I am very reserved when it comes to these romantic coaches, but certainly, this ticks a lot of boxes.
Yeah, to me, this is the best candidate by far, right? If we go back to the beginning and we remember Jurgen Klopp, that was kind of a pie in the sky. Since then, there was also the Luis de la Fuente rumor that popped up. But after those two names hit, and those two names hit pretty early, the candidates we've been talking about, Herc, we've been coming pretty far back down to earth, right? They're guys with very serious either limitations in their managerial resume, or they're guys who are connected to the American game, right, that are very accessible. This is very different. Let's start with the profile of the candidate. Here in the media, we know you need buzz. Now, this guy's not Klopp, maybe he's not quite late night circuit, but he's a massive, massive name. So I think right there off the bat, it would be a huge coup for U.S. soccer. The other thing here that's worth stating, and I know he got a pretty big payoff off both the PSG and the Chelsea firings, which actually might make him accessible. It's why it's a good place to be shopping. This isn't going to be cheap, right? This guy is managed at some of the biggest clubs in the world. He's accustomed, Herc, to a pretty big salary. So for me, if U.S. soccer is going out there and they're willing to spend, I don't know, maybe $10 million is what it would take to bring this guy in, that's pretty ambitious, and it's way more than what they've been spending in the past. Remember, Greg Berhalter was on 2.2. As far as what I like about his candidacy, Herc, it's two things specific. I actually like the thing that you don't like, which is the attractive soccer side of this, because one of the biggest criticisms of the last manager was it wasn't attractive enough. Remember, Greg Berhalter's a guy who got fired from his second division job in Sweden because his team wasn't attacking enough, because they weren't offensive enough. This guy doesn't have that on his resume, right? He's got some other flaws that you talk about, maybe lack of trophies, maybe lack of defensive responsibility at times, certainly towards the end there with Spurs. But if we're just talking about attractive football and getting some really good-looking soccer out of this so-called golden generation, I love it. The other thing I love here, Herc, is he's got a track record of making teams better, and that's what this U.S. team needs. If you look at his last 4 full seasons at Spurs, they were top 4 every single year. In the 5 years since, 1 top 4 finish. In the 2 years before he got there, 0 top 4 finishes. That tells me exactly what he's capable of, and that is exactly what this U.S. team needs. They need to be taken from the level they're at to another level, and he's the guy to do that. The other thing I'll mention, her, and I know he speaks perfectly fine English, but he's Latino, and we talk about hype and big names and getting people excited. Mauricio Pochettino would get a lot of people excited. A lot of Latinos in this country would take note. And we know U.S. soccer, and we've criticized them for it on this show, has not always been great or successful in engaging the Latino audience in this country. You bring a Mauricio Pochettino in, and I guarantee you people are going to start paying attention.